So Stellar is a financial protocol that essentially increases the interoperability between diverse financial systems and diverse currencies. So it allows any kind of currency or any kind of value, dollars, euros, Bitcoin, pesos, to move freely within the network. It is intended to be a backend for real-time and faster payments, and it also is a backend for lower foreign exchange type of transactions, cross-border transactions. It is supported by a not-for-profit, the Stellar Development Foundation, which Jed and I are part of. Structured that way so it can behave more like the internet and more like email. SMTP and the internet are also different kinds of core infrastructure that are not owned by one entity. For those of you that are familiar with how these protocols are set, there's typically standard setting bodies like the IETF that comes together, has multiple stakeholders from industry and the public to decide how these protocols. So
in any financial institution or anyone can use this system, we need this like addressing scheme. So we have this idea called payment addresses, which translate, I'm sure you're all familiar with like Bitcoin addresses and Ethereum addresses and all these things. We have a similar underlying, like basically it's just a public key, but everyday users don't want to use that. So you need some way to map something human readable, and again, it looks a lot like email addresses, to these public keys. And that's what this federated addresses thing is, and we'll show you that in the demo a little bit later. You just enter the user's federation address or payment address, the amount you want to send, and it resolves it to the underlying public key. What we're trying to do is make an open protocol for payments. And very much like email, because it is this open system, we hope it can grow extremely quickly. Like as people adopt it, it gets more and more valuable, and it should allow sort of a internet analog of innovation in the economic realm. So we're pretty excited about that.
What I'm most excited about is the following, which is the ability to do cross-asset transfer. So you could imagine, for example, an employee of Facebook who holds a lot of Facebook stock, and he wants to buy something, and this, by the way, is a liquid asset already, but he wants to buy a coffee. Well, imagine how complicated that process would be. You have to go and sell your shares through a brokerage, and it would take forever, and you'd probably leave that coffee shop before you even have time to get the coffee. Well, with something like this, you could take advantage of all the liquidity for all the assets inside of a decentralized exchange. So, for example, you could use your Facebook stock to buy that cup of coffee by hopping from Facebook to USD or Bitcoin to something like a wheat future to that cup of coffee or a share of the Empire State Building. I think that's pretty powerful, and it's something that really does not exist today at all. And it could unlock a world of possibilities, and we're really excited to make that happen. And so, the thoughts that I'd like to leave you with here are that there's a lot of inefficiency in private markets. And distributed ledger technology is a very good solution to these inefficiencies. And in particular, Stellar is the right platform to do it on. But we can't do it ourselves. Stellar is an underlying infrastructure that makes this possible. But we need partners that actually onboard these assets and do all the necessary KYC and investor accreditation and all of the things that are necessary to make sure that this is all compliant with today's securities regulations.
Using Stellar makes it possible to create, send, and trade digital assets backed by nearly any form of value, and to do so in a compliant manner. The network is with the traditional financial system to leverage the benefits of blockchain technology to enhance, but not supplant, existing infrastructure. The Stellar network has been operating for over 5 years, and today the network processes over 2.5 million daily transactions with over 4.5 million accounts.
And today we're going to be discussing stablecoins, central bank digital currencies, and focusing on issues of interoperability, including in cross-border payments.
Through the use of this open decentralized network, which is called the Stellar network. And we believe that by connecting the network to the existing banking infrastructure, we can actually touch those that are unbanked and underbanked all over the world.
Question of central bank digital currencies. And as you know, there's an increasing number of central banks around the world considering the option of introducing a central bank digital currency that they would issue directly to the public for retail use. And the central banks are thinking about doing this for a variety of reasons. Some to economize on cash management costs, some for financial inclusion purposes, some for resilience because they see the payment system being increasingly in the hands of large private companies, and some simply to compete against the big tech firms that are introducing new means of payment, and in order to remain relevant. So it's actually very interesting for us at the IMF, who go around and speak to countries around the world, to see diversity of reasons that central banks give to be interested in central bank digital currency. And so this may become a reality relatively soon.
From our perspective at the Stellar Development Foundation, like our network is set up perfectly for CBDCs to be issued on Stellar. And we actually, I mean, there's so many different ways to be able to get this out to the public, but we would love to see this. This is a way that governments can get in contact with those users out there that currently don't have a bank just down the street to be able to get to them, but could use a mobile device to be able to connect up with the banking infrastructure, for example. So from our standpoint, CBDCs actually enhance not just our network, but just the financial system as it exists today. And there's not a whole lot of work to be done here because there's already regulation. You know how to regulate currency, you know how to regulate fiat. What you've already laid is just another thing that we can go on top of. So I think that this is a great opportunity for the globe to be able to be more connected.
As you guys can see, it has been a very long journey, and I wanted to start off this stream today really just, going back, to 2014 when Jed first came together with his partners to start this vision of what Stellar is. See, the great thing about Stellar is that it's not directly competing with any other blockchain or currency. In fact, it's doing the exact opposite. The goal from day one has been to be the internet of value. And, as you can see here, you just continue on over the work. That last video I showed was earlier in 2020. A couple panels that CEO of the Stellar Development Foundation, Danelle Dixon, was on. This occurred in the fourth quarter here, which I have on this main screen. Euro stablecoin launched on Stellar by one of Europe's oldest banks. This was Germany's Bankhaus von der Heid. Launched a Euro stablecoin on the Stellar network. The bank claimed the token is the first of its kind to be issued by a banking institute. This was huge. You have another article here talking about it as well. One of the world's oldest banks issuing a Euro stablecoin. And then today, 2021, we have yet another major announcement. And this is coming from a country, Ukraine, located in Eastern Europe. And if you look, and I pulled up this article here, Ukraine's underrated economy is poised for a strong 2020. This was an article that came out earlier last year. And in it talks about how the economic outlook is far better than many appreciated. And it just talks about how in 2016 through 19, the administration carried out an impressive microeconomic stabilization following severe crisis that they went through. And here you have it today, folks. This is directly from Stellar's mouth themselves. This is a press release that you can find on their main website. The Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine and the Stellar Development Foundation announce a partnership to facilitate development of the virtual assets ecosystem. And here's a quote right here. Let's see if we can zoom this up a little bit. The Ministry of Digital Transformation is working on creating the legal environment for the development of virtual assets in Ukraine. And they say that we believe our cooperation with the Stellar Development Foundation will contribute to development of the virtual asset industry and its integration into the global financial ecosystem. I think this is huge. I think you should go definitely onto the Stellar main website and read this for yourself. So what it was actually a signing, okay? This was the National Bank of Ukraine, apparently has been researching the possibility of a CBDC implementation since 2017. So this has been something that's been ongoing. And for them to reach out to the Stellar Development Foundation, I think is a huge accomplishment that, all of us in the entire blockchain industry should really applaud. The memorandum outlines the core focus of the partnership as follows. And once again, this is directly from Stellar. So the cooperation on the development of the virtual assets market in Ukraine, the provision of support to projects related to virtual assets, the implementation and regulation of stablecoin circulation in Ukraine, and facilitation of the development of the digital currency of the central bank in Ukraine. Further goes on to say, this is from Danelle Dixon, CEO, Executive Director of the Stellar Development Foundation. We believe digital assets and national digital currencies are one of the most important innovations of our lifetimes. And we are excited to play a role in the creation of Ukraine's digital asset infrastructure. This is a big deal. Watch the replay of this. Like I said, I start off with a really brief history of where Stellar started. Just focused, working hard, grinding it out to get to this point. So definitely rewatch that again. And this is just a part of of what Stellar's got going on. You've got D-Stock that's bringing stocks. You've got USDC, which is, I believe, slated to hop on the Stellar network. I want to say by February. Don't hold me to that, but I want to believe that was the time frame that we're looking at. So this is only going to increase, and this means a lot because, once again, like I said, is that Stellar's not competing with any other blockchain, any other currency. It's creating a way that everybody can mend. Everybody could get to that P2P cash system, that original vision that Satoshi had of a peer-to-peer payment system. And talking about that, shout out to Picking Unicorns, good buddy of mine. He posted something very similar to this earlier today. We have unfortunately not seen the widespread use of P2P electronic cash systems yet. However, Stellar is solving this by allowing for the easy tokenization of assets on one interoperable network. This allows atomic transactions, and he gives a really good example here. Paying XLM while your friend receives USD. USD while your friend receives Euro, brand new Euro B token. Paying tokenized Bitcoin while your friend receives USD. This means that you can pay XLM or any other asset while your friend receives fiat in his or her bank accounts. I did a podcast with ClickWorld out in Africa where he described how he was able to use the Stellar network, leverage the Stellar network to send money from Africa through his phone into a ATM machine where they were able in seconds to access Singaporean dollars. I did another podcast where we talked with the Cowrie Exchange, where he discussed how from the U.S. you can send money to anybody. They can go to their bank account and get money in seconds. Understand that what Stellar is doing is really allowing this digital world that we've all been envisioning to come to reality. And the implications that we have, I'm going to quote Jed McCaleb on this. We probably haven't even seen what this is going to lead to yet. Shout out to Tiffany. She posted something Tiffany Hayden. She posted something very similar to this, and I liked it and retweeted it because it was along those same exact lines. Is that Jed said, when the internet started, they had no idea that one day we'll have Airbnb, right? One day we'll have Facebook. The economic opportunities that this is leading towards really just can't be ignored. Once again, this is not hype. This is just facts. And, I hope everyone takes notes of this because it's real hardcore use case. Today, want to highlight, Jeremy, I mentioned that Stellar is one of several blockchains that are going to be carrying the up and coming USDC stablecoin, and Jeremy just announced, and I'm gonna end with this. He's been working really hard, so shout out to Jeremy, shout out to the whole entire Circle team for all that they do. But he mentions that breaking major news from U.S. Treasury OCC, the largest U.S. banking regulator, with new guidance allowing U.S. banks to use public blockchains, which Stellar is, by the way, and dollar stablecoins as settlement infrastructure in the U.S. financial system. This is huge, he goes on to say. The new interpretive letter establishes that banks can treat public chains as infrastructure similar to SWIFT, ACH, Fedwire, and stablecoins like USDC as electronic stored value. The significance of this can't be understated. Decentralized, permissionless, open source, and internet mediated software is literally becoming the foundation for not just the U.S. financial system, but for the global economy. We are on path towards all major economic activity being executed on chain. It's tremendous to see such forward-thinking support from the largest regulator of national banks in the United States. This paves the way, he continues, for the use of leading dollar digital currencies such as the USDC as a mainstream payment medium for all forms of payment and settlement, and helps put the U.S. in leadership position, embracing the power of public blockchains. Beyond payments and settlement, and unlike legacy settlement mediums, public chains combine transactions and compute, enabling a radically new mode of financial and commerce apps to be built. It also sets the stage for more regulated financial institutions to run blockchain nodes and even become validators. That can be huge, guys. This is huge. Way to start 2021, the year that crypto and stable coins go mass market. You know what, Jeremy? I think I might have accidentally unfollowed you, so I'm going to refollow you again. I'm not sure why that happened there. But, guys, this is big. Like I said, I just felt it was important for me to hop on real quick and share all this information with you guys, and hope that everybody understands what's happening. This is, it's cool to hold a token. There's definitely store values out there, but don't miss this opportunity to get involved, learn what's going on, build. I'm not a coder, but I understand business. There's opportunities worldwide for all of us to be involved in this transition to a digital world. And so get involved, build, talk to your representatives, talk to people that own businesses. There might be some creative ways for them to utilize. I mean, even something with what's instant settlement. This can have a huge impact. I was talking to Tyler the other day, one quick story, about situations where let's say you have a tenant. Right now our computer system allows for digital payments, but it's ACH. It takes 3 days. So I can't tell you how many times I've had a struggling family, single mother, send a rent payment in, believes he or she has, the $800 in the bank to pay the rent. It takes 3 days, so they pay, let's say, on a Wednesday. It's aimed to deposit on Friday. On Thursday, they go to the local store, the Walmart, wherever they need to go buy something. Their kid says, "Hey, Mom, can I get this extra piece of candy?" And guess what? That little piece of candy turns their $800 they had for rent down to $799, and they thought they had it in there. They thought they had enough. But by the time the rent payment goes in on Friday, guess what? It's saying that they're a penny short. It automatically charges them a fee. Wouldn't it be so much better if they're able to have instant settlement, instant clarity on what they have in their bank accounts. I mean, this is something that can help everybody. So anyways, that's all for now. Happy Monday. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot more announcements, not just with Stellar, but with a lot of the major players that are out there. I'm talking to a lot of different people. Everybody's working hard to make this a reality. And so I'm sure that's going to be a case. I'm working a lot more interviews. I'm not going to name any names yet, but we're trying to make some things planned to bring some good content for you guys in 2021. That's it. I'm out of here. Signing off. Take care.